Welcome back to my Ruby. Next couple of jobs, next job I'm going to be doing is this. I was never decisive what I was going to do, hence it's probably going to be one of the last jobs, welding wise or fabricating wise, I'm going to be doing to it, apart from another little job I'll do a separate video of, is the gutter rails. I never knew what I was going to do with them or whatever, but I think I decided now is I'm going to tack weld or spot weld some little gutter rails on, which I'm going to make up myself. So what my plans are to do is I'll weld all these little holes up here that have where the original one was. I don't know if they were screwed there originally. I never had gutter rails. I think there was aluminium or something originally. I don't know. I've never had gutter rails with it, but I presume they'd either been off before or they did have 2 or 3 screws or whatever hold them on. So I'm gonna, these larger holes here obviously hold the roof skin to the vehicle. What I'm going to do with them is I'm going to put a temporary screw in them, pull the skins tight to it, then I'll spot weld it underneath them, hold the skin to it there. I'm not going to seam weld it, don't need it. They say it only had screws originally, so that's what I'll do. And again, same on the other side. Hello Freddie, what are you up to? And again here, same here. I've got some, he wants his treat, I'll give him it in a minute. Obviously got some bigger holes here where it was, some bigger screws are in it. The size of that one, I don't know whatever happened there. So that's going to be my first port of call job, really. Sort these out, and then I will go around fabricating some gutters up. I'm going to do it very simple. Not sure how yet, but I'll figure that out as I go along. Right, back soon. Right, there we go. I've done a bit of cleaning. These ones here, lead loaded. They're quite deep, so I'll probably just put a skimmer filler over them. That's steel. I've cleaned them up. There you go. Go get ready to clamp it down to weld it up. There you go, these ones as well, lead loaded, quite deep. That one's right, so I'll work out what I'm going to do there. I'll probably might put a self tapper screw in there or something, I don't know. I'll have a look. Whatever goes on, it goes on. So you ain't got to take no strain, these little gutter rails in, and they're only just to block up the holes really. So right, carry on. As you can see, I've welded up all the holes there, cleaned them, dressed them down, but now I've just put some like this, put tacks under there. It's very hard welding this steel, as if anyone knew that I've welded it before, these Austins. So what now I'm going to do is just dress them down. So I'm leaving them there because they're lead loaded, and also I'm leaving the ones at the front, they're lead loaded. So I'll dress them down, and then I'll quickly go around the other side and do the other side so I can catch up. I thought I'd just show you them dressed down, how it looks now. Obviously this metal is super thin on this, so I daren't go hard with a flap disc. Only just, I've got a really soft, I've got a 120 flap disc on there. I usually use 60 or 80s, so it doesn't take it down too quick, because they're definitely less than a millimetre, these are. So it's going to be no show winner, this bit here. It's going to be hidden up by the gutter rail as well, so you're not going to see it. It's not too important. What I just show you as it is, as it goes, sort of thing. But that's kept the old lining kept on nicely, so I'll keep putting a hand behind there to feel there's no, or see there's no smoke and smell no burning, because obviously there's wood on the other side of that. So right, this time I'm going to get off and do the other side. Right, so what I've done now is I folded some of these, 90-degree angle straight away. That's 1mm steel, that is. I've done 3/4 inch up the long edge, 1/2 inch down the shorter edge. So what I'm intending to do along the longer edge. I'm going to start from here in the middle because I can only fold so much, and these are 32 inches long. So I'm going to start here. I'll spot weld them on to the roof. I might trim it down a little bit left, but it's always better to go bigger than shorter. Then I'll start curving it down. There you go, there's a bit of fill. I'll put in that in there and that in there. Let it go off properly today because it's a bit cold. And then I'll sort of shrink it and stretch it down so it comes down to where it's got to go. Then I'll form it obviously because it goes to the roof because there's a gap there. But like I say, I'll shrink and stretch that to get that to fit. Then I'll go down to wherever it is there. That'll come just underneath where it should, like so. So I've done 4 of these over here, which I'll trim down to length then on the motor. I'm going to do a bit still. Yeah, I've got 4 of them done. So right, be back next time. Right, so where I've got to now is I folded them into angles, 90-degree bends. On the last one, what I've done now is drilled out some holes. You notice there's a couple of smaller ones in these. But they're to hold the old clecos when I started to sort of fold it in shape, and then when I want to get it there, that'll hold it in shape so it goes back in the original position. Great tools there. I mean, everyone who's into sort of bit of welding should have some of them into fabrication, because sometimes the old mole grips you get and the different C clamps and all that can't quite hold the panel, and they don't go back in the same place. So right, I was going to keep thinking, do I screw them on or do I weld them on, but no, I've gone for the idea I'm going to weld them. So once they're on, they're on. I ain't got to worry about taking them off. Also, if water does get through to the screws, that's going to rust the holes out in the roof and you're going to get water inside the car. So I shall start getting these into shape. I've got my old stretcher over there, so I'll stretch these around and be back soon. So far as I've got so far, if you can really see down the line here, I've curved it in, stretched the steel on the outer edge to bring the curve in with the line of the car. As you can see, I've only gone so far. I've judged it, I've done this a few times so I can pretty much get this right. So I've curved it in, or stretched it out I should say, and you'll see there's like a little gap in there. As that'll pull down, that should be about right. And the angle, I've gone this way. These clecos are so handy for doing this sort of thing. Like I say, if you ever get some because they're brilliant. Hold it in place and you can sort of stand back, and you can see I've stretched it here slightly, brought it down. That bit there is just the metal where it's been cut, where it's hot. It's not missing, it's still there. And then fold it down, stretched it, put up stretching here to bring it down. Now I'm going for the corner and bring it down to here. I don't know how long I'm going to do this bit here, but it's always best to cut it a bit longer than it is a bit shorter. So I'll be back soon with a bit more of an update. Right, there we go. That's pretty much as far as I'm going to go with it. As you can see, as far as the roof down, comes down, it goes down nicely. I reckon I'm going to go as far as here somewhere. I think that's where they usually go on these Austin 7s. I'll have a look at some pictures. But you can actually see how far the metal is stretched. Wow, the holes. See this, they're 6mm hole. They're there. And look, that's quite a lot done. I suppose it's about 8mm now. And again there. But when you're stretching it or shrinking, you've got to be very careful. On metal this sort of size, you've got to do it so delicate and gentle, because you can just go too far, then you've got to shrink it, then you've got to stretch it, then you've got to shrink it again, and like so. Just as it lines up at the side of the car. It's a little bit here, but by the time that pulls in slightly, that's a nice edge there, nice finish there. So I'm quite happy with that. Hello Freddie. Goodbye, Freddie. So right, that is it. So now what I'm going to do is move on to the back half of it. So in continue with the rear gutter rail, as you can see, she's curved round, that's stretched on this edge here again, and I've gone so far there, a bit of a line, so hopefully that should fold down or stretch down nicely with this gap here. That will pull in nicely by the time it's stretched, I think, at a guess. But notice what I did here is I put some tape along there so I can kind of follow the line to stretch it to, because I had nothing to go, obviously. This is a guess, but looking back at it, it's not looking too bad. It's looking quite nice. Very happy with that so far. So there we go, that's the back half of the gutter rail done. See, she fits in there quite nice. And just time it touches there, it's nice. I'm very pleased with that, how it goes along the rail of the gutter. All the way down to the front. So there we go, walk from the front to the back. There we go. It follows the line quite nice down here. This black line ain't 100% painted straight, so, but to the eye, that goes down there. Not sure how low I'm going to finish that yet. So this is the winding window one, as you can see. So what they're designed to do is they're designed to let water through here. Yeah. And then that water, I'll show you from the other side. You got like a gutter inside there, so that water runs down through the window onto the gutter, and then down that pipe down the bottom of the B post. Sorry, getting bloody words out right. So the gutters are, I think the gutter rails normally end about here on the Austin 7, so the water's coming down here, running off here, down here, it's going to run to the end of the gutter, and I'll see if you follow the line through gravity straight down, just to take this off. They usually finish back here. The water's probably going to run off the gutter straight down here. It's going to go onto this. It's going to run inside the car and cause more water to go into that little gutter. Which, if that little gutter blocks up on the bottom, it's only a small pipe. Can't really see. A bit dark in here, but there's only a little small pipe that goes out the bottom of it. If that blocks, obviously that fills up, that's going to encourage water to stay inside the car. So I'm thinking on what I might do on this one is I might take the gutter probably down to, see where it is, probably down, I might do it down to where it is, or just a fraction higher. So I could probably go to about here somewhere, and as the water sort of falls down, I'm hoping it's going to sort of go down that angle there. It's a thought. I'll probably chop a little bit off and see how it goes. Well, I don't think it's really out of place like that, really. It's probably going to be one of the only Austin 7s with wind down windows that the water is going to miss the window and not go into the gutter and out the back of the car. I think it'd look better painted, but I might go as high as it is yet. But that's all I'm going to do for today. It's took quite a while to do that, a lot of shrinking and stretching on them to get them to do. So next time I'm going to get the other side done, then I will weld them on. Right, so far as I've got now is I've done the other side. They do take some time, these to do, but the result thing was I've only got one string to stretcher at the minute. I've got another one ordered because I'm sick of keep swapping them over all the time, the jaws on them. So I ordered one over Christmas, so yeah, that'll be here probably Monday, Tuesday next week. So lucky enough, these were all stretch to get round, obviously to get around this bend here, stretch, and also to curve it from the straight line down here round inwards was stretch as well, so I didn't have to swap about or piss about too much really. It was quite handy. So as far as I've got now is that's my little Morris 10. That's going to be next on a chopping board to get done. the transit pre-war that was. You can see the old black outlines and the army paint underneath it, but that's a story for another time. So what I've done now is, because I've got red oxide on here, this was bare metalled when I got it, so I had to put something on it that was all surface rust. I went over the wire wheel and like blah blah blah. So I've marked out, that's a Clico hole that is, where all the welds are going to go, plug welds are going to go through, Clicos again, so I can make sure I clean the paint off so I can get onto the metal. Again, down to here, this here is obviously skimmer filler and lead in here. So what I'm going to do is that I've got some CT1, that is strong shit, that holds pretty much anything that does. So I'll CT10 this bit here, clamp it on, and that'll be as good as anything that will. Yeah, so yeah, once I've cleaned all these out, I'll put some weld through primer on there, because obviously it's going to be an edge where there's going to be water, isn't there? So, but once I've done the vial on now, I will put a sealer, get my words out, is put a smear of seam sealer along the top where the steel goes, so obviously the water will go onto that and not behind it. But if it does, that'll just, well, at least it ain't going to go into the car with all the screw holes. But I'll do my best to make it be right, that'll be fine. I've got all the confidence zone, I'll be back in a bit. Right, back again, it's a different day. So what I've done is I've plug welded the gutters on. I got as far as this, as you notice, because this is all lead loaded around here. So what I'm going to do, I've got some CT1 sealing grippy stuff, do you know what I mean, adhesive. It's really strong, so I'm going to put a bit of CT1 there, and I'm going to do the same here to put that on, so it's curled in nicely, so it's just literally to hold it on there. But what I've done now is my gutter rails, because obviously there was a 90-degree bend, I've actually curved them up. Can you see that? Yeah, you can sort of see down the angle down there. So I'll try to get a better angle for it. No, not really. Try from the other way. You might see a bit better. Yeah, you can see a bit that way. Should get a better camera really. Oh. Yeah, you can see there, that's curved up a bit now. Yeah, so what I did is got my hammer and dolly. You see a few little tap marks here, they're not dented, it's just the paint chipped off under there. And I put a dolly, this one, over it. So you can see nicely, it's got a nice, there you go, angle there. Fit perfect in the gutter. And I tapped it up with a hammer obviously, to get it quite nice and straight. I will give it a little bit more of a fettling, but it's just to show you what it's done. So what I'm going to do next is grind the welds down, dress them, then I'm going to put a bit of CT1 sorry, on there, and then clamp it and come back to this side tomorrow. But it's pretty done really, that is, apart from that, but I'll give you an update as it's actually done. Right, back again. I've got some CT1 for the front edge of these here, the gutter rails. I've put a couple of temporary screws in for now, and I put a couple of temporary screws in the back there. A good tip for CT1, because I put sealer down there, very fine. Layer it just goes down the car. What I find with CT1 is you can clean it with brake fluid cleaner, the one that's in like a gallon drum or 5 litre drum. You put in like a Wins squirty bottle. It really does wipe that quick. So if you put a bit on, fingers width, smear it all the way along, then you get a bit of rag, wet it with brake fluid cleaner, wipe it off, and you can actually get quite a nice run of it down there, sort of thing. I put some CT underneath there as well, because the roof skin curved down, and then this panel here lips underneath it, so there's a gap underneath there all the time. I don't know if that would have been lead loaded or whatever. This has been sandblasted, this had. I don't know what it was there originally, so it might have just been nothing. So I put some CT1 underneath there as well, and again under here where the lip was as well. So it's actually, you can't really see, it's actually sort of not going to get no water in there or anything. I did curve these up a tiny bit more, these gutter rails, just to make sure that water runs off, which I think is quite nicely. If you can see the far end of it, it's quite a nice angle now. I cut the back down. I took about 1.5 inches off to what I originally had, maybe 2 inch. So if we're looking gravity, obviously water's going to try to come down here, and in a straight line that should miss now, instead of going inside the car, down in gutter rails at the bottom, blocking up or whatever and filling up the car. I cut the front down about 1 inch. I sort of trimmed it sort of roundish. I might just put a little bit more of a curve in there, don't know, depends how fussy I feel like being. And I curved that round on the edge there. I'll smooth these edges over here so they're not sharp. So I'll move these screws where the CT1 has been applied underneath these when they're finished. Then when it's taken off, probably do that tomorrow. So that'll hold on there. And I've done the other side, as you can see. When I do one side, I always do the other side. It makes the job, it completes the job then, instead of doing one then coming back and doing the other one. Again, I put the sealer in there, as you can see. It's nice, quite thin. I'll stop the water again there. Again, a couple more screws in there holding it. Again, the sealer underneath there. So, right, I can give you another update when I've sort of done them or painted them in or whatever. I'm only going to have my black it, so I might actually call this video here now. But there's nothing to see when it's blacked off, is it? So yeah, I'll end this video here now, get it uploaded. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. If you like, please share, do whatever. Be nice if you could. Shows appreciation for the work that I put into these old motors. And thank you very much. Enjoy. Happy New Year. Thank you. Bye.